Welcome to episode 3 of The Setting Trick. I'm excited to be interviewing my first female bridge player here on the podcast. And she is also somebody who I've had the pleasure of partnering with over 3+ years at the international level. I've had some of my best results with Migry. And she's been an incredible friend. She's introduced me to so many of her friends in the bridge world, and I just can't begin to thank her enough for all that she's done for me, all that she's taught me. So I hope you enjoy episode 3.
Thank you for having me, John. Hi, everyone.
I sent you some questions, and I had some ideas about some additional thoughts about some questions. So I was reading through your website last night and going over your record as a player. And I've had the pleasure of playing my first world championship with you. Some of my best results came with you. I wonder, what do you think is your best trait as a bridge player? Like, what do you think is your strongest suit as a player?
That's a tough question. I wasn't prepared for that. I think you need to ask my partners.
Yeah.
I think I'm a very good partner.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think I can focus regardless of outside things. And I can put things behind, forget a bad board and go to the next one.
Yeah, I will say as your partner that that's one of the things that you taught me, and I think it was hard for me. It's still something that I work on, but I noticed that the more I do that, for example, I played at the club the other day, and we got a bad result on an early board because I tried to go for an extra trick, and I ended up going down in a cold contract. And one of the things that you used to say to me is number next.
Right. That hand, we cannot play it again.
Yeah. I think that's a consistent theme. Bob Hammond talked about it when I spoke to him on my last interview, and I think that's something that you tried to get across to me. So that would be one of the things. I think another thing which is underrated in bridge is like having a sense of humor. And like, for example, we would be in a contract and you would do like the Winnie the Pooh song, like I Think I'm Going Down. And I think like there's like a lightheartedness. Not that you're not a competitor, because you definitely are. You're not. You're okay with a bad result or going down. Like you took those types of results well, and it came off your back.
Yeah, I think it's really, really important for all of us to remember that it's only a game. It's the most wonderful, amazing game. But it's a game, and we are supposed to have fun when we play it. Now, it's wonderful to win, but when we lose, it's not the end of the world. So we have good results, we have bad results. We get them all in stride. Number next.
Okay, so when it comes to results, is there one for you that stands out in your playing career?
Well, I guess we have to put the World Championships at the top.
And is any one of those three? You've won 3, I think. Is that right?
I think so. I won the individuals, the mixed, and the women. I think there are no more than that. I would say that the Venice Cup is the most important one. It's sometimes I always dream to win. And one of the reasons I moved to the States because there were not so many chances to win one in an Israeli team. And I'm very happy I accomplished that.
Mm.
I would put that at the top of my accomplishments.
Yeah.
And playing with a lot of amazing players. I've been very fortunate to play with a lot of good players, male and female.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to play with David Berkowitz, and I'm very excited about it.
Oh. Well, that's news to me. Breaking news. Are you playing the upcoming cycle with him?
Correct.
And can you say, I have a guess about which team that you're playing on. Can you say?
Sure, I'm playing in Andrew's team.
Well, congratulations.
And Rosenthal.
Congratulations. I know that.
I'm very, very excited about that.
I bet. Can you share with me or us how that, is there anything you can share about how that came to pass?
There is not much to tell. I was asked to play, and I was more than happy to do that.
Yeah.
It's a huge opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. I know you that was one of the things that playing with you that felt good for me was to give you that opportunity to play against in open events. I enjoyed that when we played together because I knew how much that you enjoyed playing against the best.
That's true. And I'm very grateful for the opportunities. I really am.
Well, I know that we definitely had some, I can be a mercurial partner. So I could see how maybe you might have some misgivings about wanting to speak to me on a recorded forum to be shared with bridge players all over the world. So I do appreciate you doing this.
Do you want me to tell you how is it to play with you?
Yeah, absolutely.
So first of all, it's a lot of fun. I'm not sure when I play with David, I can sing Winnie the Pooh and that will be appreciated. And when we started to play, your beating was a little bit wild and I was trying to take it down a notch. And then I realized that actually I don't have to because you are sort of spot on and maybe your instincts were so good. Even if sometimes it was wrong.
Yeah.
But the instincts were good and healthy. So I thought maybe it's not good to take it down a notch. Yeah, sure, sometimes we'll go for a big number. But if I had a different hand or if things were a little bit different, it could have been easily successful. So the instinct was right.
Well, I'm definitely bidding less. I think I think I'm definitely learning that making your contract at the 2 level instead of bidding a hopeless game has its merits, regardless of the form of scoring. I do appreciate your saying that. I mean, I had no idea.
No, that was the first thing that I realized when I started to play with you.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I know. It's interesting. You're never really privy to what the other person thinks.
Yeah. And you are very enthusiastic, and it's a lot of fun to play with you, especially when things go well. But that's true about everybody.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I would like to be less. I would like to be less susceptible to poor results. I'd like to think that I'm making progress in that department.
Mm-hmm. You are talking about accomplishment and bad results. There is one match that I'll never forget. We are playing the NEC in Japan, not you and I. I was playing the NEC in Japan,
Yeah.
the final. I was playing with one of my favorite partners from Israel, Michael Barrel,
Yeah.
and we were leading by more than 6 teams with 1 quarter to go. And in the first board, the Japanese opponents beat a slam like 10%, and they made it.
Uh-huh.
The second board, they beat the game on 10%, and they made it. The third board, they opened a weak now trump, and I had 6 spades and 4 hearts, and I had to decide if you show majors or to show 1 major. So I showed 1 major, and sure enough, I played there when we were called for game in the other major.
Yeah.
And I knew that the result would not be duplicated at the other table because they are not going to open 1-0 trump. And then the next hand, we doubled 1-0 trump, and it made. And everything went like that, and I was feeling that I'm losing a lot of weight during this match, which is good. And as the imps were slipping away, and I knew that we are maybe tied now, maybe a little minus. And it was really a nightmarish set. Everything they did was right. Everything we did was wrong. And not that we did something necessarily bad, but it was just wrong.
Yeah.
And then came the last board. And Michael led something, and I won the trick. And in spite of the disastrous set, I forced myself to sit there and think, when all I wanted to do is to finish that quarter. I wanted to just run out and say, I've had enough of it.
Yeah.
And I sat there for 10 minutes until I figured out how to break a squeeze.
Wow.
And that's sort of my one moment in bridge that I'm proud of.
Wow.
Not about the defense, but that I managed to do it under those very unfavorable circumstances.
Wow.
And we won. And that board was the
wow.
ones that matter. So, yeah, that's my happiest experience.
Yeah, that is, I mean, that, I can't say that I've ever done that. But just the like being committed to the process when everything is going wrong. That's where I want to focus my efforts going forward with bridge, because the results can be somewhat random, but
right, you are not always responsible for what's happened. Now, your opponents are going to do good things. You are going to do good things that don't work.
Yeah. Well, that's I've never heard that story. So I definitely have some good ones from you. But that's a new one.
Yeah. That's what I'm really proud of.
How do you do that? Like, how do you visualize? And when did you start visualizing hands? Like, when did you, maybe I can put it more broadly. I read that you started playing for Israel in 1984. When did you start like approaching bridge like a profession instead of just a game that you grew up playing in your family? And what was that process like?
I'm not sure. It just happened to me. It wasn't a conscious thing that saying, oh, today I'm going to be a professional player.
Yeah.
It just happens. The circumstances were like that, and I spent more and more time playing bridge, and I was good at it. So immediately when I started to play seriously, I started to do well and to represent Israel. I'm very proud to say that ever since I represented a country, being that Israel or United States, every single event. So that's sort of a lot of years.
You mean you've represented your country since 1984 every year?
Correct.
Oh.
There were 2 years in the middle that I had to take a break when I moved from Israel to the States. But after that, yes.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Not bad at all.
Like one of the selling points for bridge that I want to make with Double Dummy to young people is that they can represent their country in this mind sport, which I think a lot of people might not appreciate. That's even a possibility. And I think representing your country is a pretty, I mean, I would love to represent the United States at some point. And that's part of the reason I'm doing this podcast, is just to get inside the heads of people like yourselves, because it's a great learning opportunity for me to, for example, to think about you breaking up that squeeze at trick one. You know, that's what it takes to represent your country.
But I'm not sure this is a good selling point for young people, but I think that the game itself is a good selling point. If you get young people to play, they must fall in love.
Yeah.
Every hand is a problem, so everybody who's into problem solving should easily get addicted to the game. You just have to get them to play. After they play, they'll be hooked for life.
So you teach, you play bridge at the highest level, and then you also teach a fair number of beginning players.
I do.
What is the hardest thing for you to teach your students?
Not to love conventions. So if I'm teaching beginners, what I do, like complete beginners, I really spend a lot of time on the play.
Yeah.
And they start learning bidding very, very late. Like by the time they start adding bidding, they already really know how to play a hand.
Yeah.
So I think that's the most important thing, to teach them how the cards work, and not the bidding. That comes on top of the rest. And I love to teach. Yeah. I really love to do that. I'm very fortunate to be able to do what I like, both in playing and teaching, and I consider myself extremely lucky.
What about with me? Like, what is something that you wish that you could have gotten across to me that maybe would have helped our partnership have better results?
To take more time.
Yeah. I had a feeling you might say that.
Like, a lot of things are solvable if you give yourself enough time.
Right.
So you need a lot of patience in this game.
Mm.
You also need a lot of patience to see the results coming. Now, it doesn't happen in a day.
Yeah.
So just be patient.
Yeah.
And take more time. And really try to think like what I do in defense, for instance, okay? Like, my partner leads something and dummy comes down. And before I start playing, I try to visualize a hand for declarer.
Yeah.
From the bidding, from the lead, from everything, from all the information I have. And I don't start defending until I had some picture of declarer's hand. And it may be in the end that it's completely the wrong picture. But I have to have a picture in my head.
So say it goes 1-0, 3-0, and your partner leaves a card, and there's like 3 cards, and it's like the dummy's 4-3-3, and like what would you do? Maybe that's not enough information.
Well, yeah, right. That's not enough information, but I'm trying to see from, first thing I count the points and I figure out how many partner has and what to expect from partner. And from the lead, I can figure out how many cards he has most of the time. And I'm wondering why he led that suit and not another suit, for instance, in which I'm short. and stuff like that, if the information is available. There is always some information available.
I think one of the things that maybe, I mean, just listening to you say this, I mean, I've heard you say this before and other people say this before, but I think one of the things, maybe the mistakes that I make is that I have a reaction to partner's lead. And so it's like, for example, if partner leads a suit that I'm short, I'm like, God, my partner always does this.
They do it. Yeah. Their partners do it, of course.
And it's like a distraction from what you're talking about. Like, I don't think, I don't think Eric Rodwell does that, for example. Like I've read where he says he's always about, like, you always have a chance about beating a hand. And I'm like, well, not anymore. Or, I feel like sort of
never give up.
I mean, I feel like that's so easy to say.
I know.
But to actually practice that and do the hard work that really is actually living that is, I mean, that's the difference between an amateur and a professional. That's a good example, at least, of one difference between an amateur and a professional. And I would like to be, I mean, I don't need to get paid to play bridge, but I would like to be more professional about it. Like I would like to be.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. You don't need to be paid in order to have what we call like sort of a professional approach to the game.
Right.
Yeah. It's a wonderful game. That's all I can say.
Well, we're going to have a hard time having a conversation if you just say what a wonderful game it is for,
Right.
So today is April 1st. It's also Easter Sunday. And did you do any April Fool's Day pranks today?
Not really. I decided this year to take it easy. Like, I have a very good history with that, but this year I decided to take it easy. I did a little one on my husband that actually is bridge related.
Oh, really?
Yes.
And has he figured out that this is
Absolutely not.
Oh, he has not.
I mean, at the end, I told him, and I really got him.
Oh, really?
It was a good one, but I'm not going to.
Oh, no, you're not going to share it, you mean?
No.
Oh, okay. What about some of are there any historical April Fool's Day pranks that you might want to,
Well, I'm not sure, but yes, I could do that. And of course, one of the most famous one involves one of my dear friends, Eric Tokis. And Pietro is really good at working out emails, and Eric is extremely generous with his time and his knowledge.
Yeah.
So we wrote him a letter from a college in Nunavut, Alaska.
Okay.
From Mr. Pelagia, I don't remember his last name, saying, "Hi, Eric. I hope you remember our conversation when you agreed to come and teach our students in Nunavut some bridge, and we really appreciate we can fix a date." And Eric replies, "Well, I don't quite recall the conversation, but of course I'll be delighted." And now the correspondence continues. And they say, we agreed on a time, but do you need somebody to drive you there? Because, you need to drive like 2,000 kilometers on ice. Are you used to that? Or maybe we can send one of our students to drive you. And eventually, when he was almost embarking on the process of traveling to Nunavut, we had to call him. Pietro called him, said, "Hello, this is Pelagia." And,
Oh. Is this when you were living in the U.S.?
No, that was many years ago.
Oh.
It was like 18, 17 years ago.
Oh. Oh yeah. I didn't do any. I haven't done anything yet. I don't have anything. I don't have any master plans. Unfortunately.
No, it's very sad. Like an April's Fool without actually getting anybody except for Pietro. But yeah.
All right. I have a bidding problem for you.
A bidding problem.
Bidding
Okay.
problem for you. Okay. You have stiff ace.
That starts well.
Ace, king, queen, ninth.
Okay.
Ace and one and stiff.
Okay.
13 pretty good cards.
Especially 11 of them, but yes.
And it goes 3 spades on your right.
There are many ways to go with this hand.
Yeah.
The question is how. It's not a question of getting to right contract because you don't really know. I would love for no Trump to be asking for aces.
Yeah. But it's not, right? It's quantitative, like with a bigger hand than 3-0, isn't it?
No, I think that these are minors are asking for aces, not
okay.
quantitative.
Oh, right. That's
If
true.
Arnold Trump would be asking for aces, I would be happy to do that.
Yeah.
Like I can see a lot of things where I make 7 hearts. I can see a lot of things where I go down in 6.
Yeah.
And you also need to figure out if there is a way to stop the opponents from bidding 6 spades or 7 spades, which is probably right for them.
Right. Yeah. That's true. I didn't think about that. I hadn't thought about that in the context of the problem. Somebody gave it to me, a young Indian man named Anidra. He sends me problems every so often on WhatsApp. And I think it's funny. Like he sends me these problems and I think he has a...
So first of all, he's a lucky man to have these problems, like... So...
But he asked me questions like I know the answer, and I'm like, I do not know, man. I mean, I appreciate that you think that I know, but I don't even... Is it...
I don't think that anybody knows how to beat this hand,
Yeah.
It's not a matter of knowing how to beat them, right? It's not
Right.
knowledge.
Okay.
Sometimes you make your best guess and hope for the best.
Yeah.
The opponents may have a very, very cheap sacrifice.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's better not to get to the ideal contract, but just to stop them from sacrificing, which is going to be so cheap.
Right. Huh.
So who knows? Maybe 6 hearts is practical.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do when they beat 6 spades?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. He said he bid 5 no trump at the table, and his partner bid 7 clubs with the ace king of clubs. So he bid 7 hearts, and that was that.
Yeah.
And they didn't save. So I don't know. I don't know what the vulnerabilities were.
So anything can work in this hand. Like every time somebody asks me about a hand in which you have an 8 suitor or more or a really wild hand, there is no right answer. There is so much guessing involved that it's just sometimes you get it right and sometimes not, and just hope that you're doing okay.
Can we talk about your match against Nichols?
Talk about my match against Nichols this last event?
Yeah.
Sure.
How did it go?
I don't have any happy memories from this match.
No.
Like it's one of the reasons you play bridge is to be able to be in a situation to actually play 60 boards against the greatest players there are there.
Yeah.
So I was just happy to be there.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything really good.
Yeah.
Or, I just played. I did some bad things. I did some okay things. And we lost.
What was your mentality going into the match?
I wanted to win.
Yeah.
It's always my mentality. You cannot go into a match and not want to win it, or not think that it's possible to win it.
Were you intimidated?
No. I mean, they are a better team, you expect to lose, but sometimes you are going to win and you hope that it is this time.
Yeah.
You certainly don't go in there to kibitz your opponents. You do your best.
So how did you played the match with Adam
Yeah.
Vildovsky. How did you and Adam start playing together?
I don't know. I think he asked me and I said yes. Like that's how most partnerships start.
So what was the first thing that you did in terms of building your partnership?
Adam sent me some notes, and I love playing with Adam. He's the most quiet person at the table, and the notes say, the first line is the note says something like, never say sorry at the table, or never apologize, or stuff like that. And the notes are relatively simple, which is something I like. I don't like to add conventions. And many years ago, I was playing with one of my favorite partners, certainly one of the people that I learned most about this game. I was playing with Chris Wilenken.
Yeah.
And we were playing a very complicated system. We were playing some relay system.
Yeah.
And even though I knew the system, and I knew I know the system, and if you would wake me up in the middle of the night and ask me about some relay, I would know it. When we were playing together, I wasn't playing well because I felt that I was so focused on not messing up the systems that it seeped into my card play and my defense, and I wasn't that sharp as I could have been.
Right.
So I'd rather play something simple, even though the system was great. But it's just... I couldn't focus on the right places.
Yeah.
So you always need to, another thing to do is to make sure that you don't take on more than you can handle.
Right.
Which is probably what I did.
So when you and Adam, I know you guys have played together for a couple of years. Have you added anything to your agreements or taken anything
We decided
away?
to play Week Now Trump.
Oh, okay.
Which is a lot of fun.
And what kind of discussion went into that? You proposed it, or?
No, I think it was his idea. He plays Week Now Trump with some of his partners. I have a long history of playing Week Now Trump. And that's how we decided.
Did you win any swings against Nichols playing Week Now Trump?
I don't remember. Remember.
What is your runout structure if they double you?
Just as after a strong no trump, if they double for penalty, don't run out.
Redoubles a one suitor and then bidding is that suit and higher.
Yeah.
So you can't get them if they double you.
You can pass and double after.
Okay.
Week Now Trump is not a dangerous convention to play. I think.
I've never played it.
it's dangerous in different ways. I was playing the World Championship in Montreal with Pepsi, and we decided to play Weak Now Trump. It was a match point event.
Yeah.
And my very wise husband said, don't play Weak Now Trump because you are going to play against the field.
Right.
And we said, no problem. We are going to play Weak Now Trump. And we played Weak Now Trump, and every single hand we were on the wrong side of it. Like every single hand. I think that in the final we decided to give up on the Weak Now Trump. Like I would open one club, planning to rebid a strong no trump, and it would go one club, one no trump, pass, 3 no trump, which of course would not have happened had I opened a strong no trump.
Right.
And like everything went bad.
Right.
So, one of those things.
So what does one no trump promise over one club if you're playing a weak no trump?
15, 17.
No. If you bid one no trump, if you open the bidding one no trump and responder bids, if you bid one club and responder bids one no trump, what does responder promise?
Well, specifically after one club, it promises a positive hand or a negative. I don't remember. It's just normal bridge. I'm talking about like here the case was that I opened one club and the opponent's over called one no trump. I couldn't have done had I opened one no trump.
Ah, yes.
So say go to 3 no trump into my strong no trump, which would have with like 24, 23 points, which would not have happened had I opened one no
I see
trump.
what you're saying. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. That happened also, that I opened one something and we played from the wrong side. So that happens too. Basically everything bad happened when we opened one no trump or didn't open one no trump.
So when I talked to Bob Hammond the last time I did this, he he gave me a hand. Anyway, I was re-listening to it in my car. And what I failed to appreciate, like, he sort of intimated that I was an idiot. But he told this story about opening an ACL 2 hearts and then partner bid 3. And so he jumped to 7 hearts. And Bob's on lead with ace of spades and the king jack of hearts. And he's playing with Don Kraus. And Bob says... or Krause's version of the story is that Bob led the ace of spades with great trepidation. So it goes, so declare roughs and is in a 6-4 heart fit. And eventually, I forget what happened, but it was this guy, Robert Nail was playing with Jacoby, one of the Jacobys, I forget which one. And it was a follow-up to another story. And Jacoby said, well, why didn't you bid 5 no trump to check on Trump honors? And Nail said, because I thought I had better play for 7 hearts than 5 no trump. And when Bob told the story, I didn't really get why that was the case. And obviously when I listened to it the second time, I appreciated that, he had a spade void. So, they could take all those, however many spades. And so I was like asking Bob to kind of explain why that was. And he just couldn't really it was just too, anyway, I'm glad that I listened to it the second time. And then the next story that Bob proceeded to tell is the story about, what's his name? Barry Crane. Is it Barry Crane? Maybe it's not Barry Crane, but somebody about I Had a Reason.
I don't know.
The I Had a Reason story. It's like, and the reason is you're a fucking moron.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know the reason. The reason is because you're a fucking moron. And Bob tells this story, and I'm just like, when I listened to it afterwards in my car, I'm thinking, wait a minute. He's kind of saying that I'm a moron. And I'm kind of thinking, well, actually, I am sort of a moron because I didn't understand what this was. So, Anyway, it felt good, I was embarrassed at the time. I'm driving in my car out in the country and I'm thinking, man, what a moron. And I wanted to call Bob and give him grief about it, but it was too late. And I don't know that he would have even necessarily seen the correlation, but I'm wondering if anybody else listening picked up on that sort of like undercurrent. But that's you're playing with. Well, we played against Bob and David actually, and Andrew's team.
Yeah,
in Toronto.
We did.
Yeah.
Almost won.
Yeah, I know.
We played well.
That was unfortunate.
Toronto actually was one of our best events play-wise. Not results, but quality of play.
Yeah?
That's what I think, yeah.
Huh. Well, that's cool. I mean, it's funny. Like we played the Platinum Pairs. It's the first time I ever played the Platinum Pairs with you, or the first time we ever played together is the Platinum Pairs in Dallas in 2014, and we make it to the finals and finish 12th.
That was very exciting.
And I've played the Platinum Pairs every year since, and not gotten past the first day.
It's a tough event. I didn't get past the first day before I played with you. So that was a fun event to play.
What is your fondest memory of playing with me? Like result wise or otherwise.
Oh. Well, there are quite a few. Our first event that we won,
the Risinger,
with Chris and Dana.
Yeah,
that was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I had a lot of fun playing in Sanya. We did well the first day in the Open. The mixed was fun, and the first day in the Open when we were doing so well was really good.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah,
that was
so
cool. Yeah.
There are a lot of good memories.
What about your worst?
I don't remember.
Oh, man. Huh.
I think it was really a lot of fun.
Yeah. I wonder if you ever thought that I was a shithead.
I never think that.
Oh my gosh. Huh. What else do I want to ask you about?
What do you want to ask me?
Do you want to talk about what it's like being, like as a female player? Do you think you have more opportunities, less opportunities, different opportunities because you're a woman playing bridge?
I don't really like to think about myself as a woman player, just as a player.
Right.
But the truth is, like when I was playing in Israel or for Israel, I was more or less forced to play the women because they wouldn't let my partner and I play the Open because they wanted to have a strong women team.
Yeah.
And if we are allowed sometimes to play the trials of the Open, but only if we commit to play in the women team, regardless of the result. And we didn't fight it very hard. So in a way, when you are a woman, sometimes you choose the easy way.
Yeah.
Like it didn't really matter how much we worked or what we did. We were always going to be in the team because we are really good. And when you are representing your country is fun. Whereas if we decided to fight and display the Open, we might or might not have done it that often. I think that the women have it a little bit easy in the way that there is an event only for them.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate. It gave me the opportunity to win World Championship or some World Championships, and hearing the anthem of your country being played for you, it's one of the very, very rewarding things. Very exciting.
Do you think that male bridge players are better than female bridge players, or do you think that that's an unfair statement?
In general, I think that men are not better than women.
Yeah.
I think that maybe at the top levels, men are. Like the best men are probably better than the best women.
And do you think that do you have a reason why you think that might be?
I don't know if they are. I have some thoughts. I don't know if they are real or it's just my way of justifying it.
Yeah.
But I think that men generally are able to focus better than women and to detach themselves from what's happening in their lives otherwise. Like if a woman has a sick child at home or has a fight with her husband or whatever, and then goes to play bridge, it may be more difficult to be in the moment and not to think about other things, whereas men have the ability to focus better and forget anything else. The other thing is probably biological when, women have their periods, so sometimes they are not at their best. And the stamina, and I really don't know. I don't have other explanations.
Yeah.
Maybe less competitive generally. I just don't know.
Sometimes I'll be talking to friends that don't play bridge,
and they don't understand why there is a difference.
Right? Yeah, they don't understand. They're sort of taken aback that there's even segregated events based on sex.
Well, but you have that in chess too, right?
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
Well, that's very honest of you. I mean, it's not like I had some trepidation about even asking you that question.
No. I think I'm very good, but I don't think that I'm better than the best man. I'm up there. No, just kidding.
Are you playing the open trials this year?
I don't know. I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
You don't have any plans to as of yet?
I don't have a team as of yet. I have a partner like Adam would like to play, and I would like to play, but we don't have a team yet. So.
Right.
But I would love to play. Again, because it's just it's a fun event, and it's great to be able to play against the best teams around.
So if anybody's listening and wants to have you play on their team for the trials, your website is Migry.com.
Well, I haven't seen that website in a long, long time, but yes, that's the website that Pietro lovingly created many years ago.
Yeah.
It's a good website. It has also a lot of, like Pietro and I were editors of the Israeli Bridge magazine, and there is a lot of stuff from the magazine and a lot of articles which are extremely educational, and I think it's a good site.
Well, I spent some time on there yesterday, and it
hasn't been updated in a long time.
Yeah, I was reading an article where you made 4 hearts when you took a finesse. It was very nice.
I know that would get you. I think I put it in just knowing that you are going to go to the side.
You finessed the 10 of spades. You had king, queen, 9-8, 5th of spades in the dummy opposite jack and 1. Queen, jack, 9-8 of hearts opposite king, small, king 4th, sorry. 2 little opposite king and 1, and king and 1 opposite ace 5th. So dummy was 5-4, 2-2.
I don't remember.
Playing with Chris, and it went. You opened the bidding a spade. It went double. Chris redoubled. It went 1 no trump on your right. You bid 2 hearts, and Chris bid 4 hearts.
I really don't remember.
Huh.
Did I make it?
Yeah, you did.
Okay. I don't remember the hand.
Let's see. Your left-hand opponent, the doubler, had 2 small spades, ace 4th, ace queen 5th of diamonds, I think, or something, and 2 small clubs.
I really have no recollection of that. I'm sorry. I I sort of remember my bad hands much better than I remember my good hands.
Well, you needed to establish the spades in order to make your clubs and your trumps work, basically. And so you won the opening lead in the dummy, played a spade to the jack, I think, yeah.
I'm sure Chris will remember the hand because he remembers every hand everybody ever played, but I don't. Like, really, this is amazing. When we were in Tel Aviv and doing the Bridge magazine, sometimes we would have this bid with the experts or whatever, the bidding panel. And sometimes, because we didn't have enough experts, we would take hands from old magazines and use some of the responses from there. But I'm talking really old.
Yeah.
And Chris was one of our panelists. And he would go, "You cannot ask me this hand from September 1984. And it was amazing. Like a bidding hand from the bidding panel, and you know exactly in what bridge will that hand appear.
Wow. Yeah.
I don't have that memory. I really remember very few of the good things I did.
Oh.
I can tell you some of the catastrophes.
Well, I think one of the things that bridge does for me is it helps me organize my thinking. Like, it teaches me, it's like a great training device for being able, like, just to say it again, to organize my thoughts. So I've started writing things down more because it helps me. But I also was looking at the bridge world last night, and I was looking at a problem, and I had to, like, visualize the hands, and I had to go through each round of play and really do that. And I think maybe that's going to help me. That visualization process is going to help me take the next step in my card play, because I am pretty lazy about doing that. Like, I'm pretty lazy. I tend to want to, like Michael Rosenberg describes it as, like, I want to get the hand over with because I just want to see what happens instead of, like, thinking out the possible variations. So that makes me. One of the things I remember Chris Walenkin, that is, saying is, like, so-and-so is a pretty good player when trumps are 3-2. And I thought, that.
I didn't hear him actually using this expression. Interesting. But it's a good one.
He wasn't talking about, I don't remember who he was talking about. It wasn't somebody that I knew. It definitely left a mark on, it left an imprint. It made me think, I wonder, like, if he could be talking about me, or like, yeah. Yeah,
like this is another one of the things that sort of differentiate the top expert from a less expert.
Right.
To be able to make some contracts when the suits don't split 3-2.
Yeah. Well, in this hand that I wanted to share with you from your website, where you did so great, your trumps were 4-1, but you managed to handle that.
Well, because you said there was a double, so I'm sure that I took the right inferences from the double.
Definitely.
Like, if I remember correctly, it was like a really old article. I mean, I think we were playing, is from Antalya, if I'm not mistaken. Like, it's really it was a long time ago. We were playing the open teams in the European in Antalya.
So what are you doing? It's Easter Sunday. What are you doing to celebrate? Are you making dinner tonight? You said you were going to the grocery store earlier.
I'm making dinner tonight, and I managed to find the cakes that Pietro loves for Easter.
Ah, right.
Which is a Napolitan traditional cake. So I'm very pleased with myself.
Huh. Where did you find that?
Well, that was a project. Pietro tried to go to a very famous pastry in Little Italy yesterday.
Yeah.
And he ordered in advance, and he gave his credit card. It's like a black market for these cakes on Easter. So he got there, about 100 angry Italians
Wow.
And after he had to queue up, it transpired that they forgot to put his order in. So they did find the order, but the woman who took it didn't put it in, and there are not enough.
Huh.
There wasn't. And he was really upset.
Yeah.
And then I had this project to try and find things somewhere else, and I found it in the menu of a restaurant that they serve it for dessert.
Oh.
And I got it.
Right. Well, that's sweet.
Yeah.
I
He
forgot.
certainly deserves it.
I forgot that Pietro. I forgot that you would be celebrating celebrating Easter because of Pietro.
Yeah.
When is Passover?
It was on Friday.
It was on Friday?
Yeah, we celebrated that too.
On Friday night?
Yeah.
I'm actually going to a Seder on this upcoming Friday night.
Well, there's not a Seder. The Seder was on Friday and Saturday, but it's the last day of Passover. It's actually the day when you can start eating bread again. And, of course, we celebrate it after having a week of matzah. It's a big reason to celebrate.
And are you not eating bread all week?
No comment.
You worried your mother might be listening to this?
Who knows? The chief rabbi.
Oh, man. What did I want to ask you? I actually went to a Seder on Thursday night at a church here in Charlottesville. And so they were doing like I'm still not sure what their intention was. What their intention was. Oh my God. I actually left halfway through. Yeah, I couldn't take it. It was
I'm a little bit offended now.
No, it was more because it was anyway. I shouldn't go into this. The only time I've celebrated Passover was at your house, so I have a happy memory of that.
Yeah, but we don't do really all the religious stuff. We just have dinner with friends, basically, and some traditional food or semi-traditional. We don't read all the stuff. We don't go through all the traditions.
So we were reading. I mean, it's Exodus in the Bible. Is that what you traditionally do?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's a special Haggadah for Passover that we...
Yes, we were reading a Haggadah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of cool in a sense that the church was doing this to try and sort of...
It certainly is. Especially nowadays to see that people are not that divided. It's extremely important.
Yeah.
We are living through hard times. And we are not discussing politics.
Okay. Well, I mean...
But I think it's really a sweet idea.
Yeah.
Anything that it...
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was saying that anything that it's not divisive but uniting, it's like very heartwarming.
But like Exodus, for example, it's like very divisive. I think it's I don't know. Maybe the Bible is even worse than talking about politics.
Yes. Okay, this is a bridge podcast. We don't talk politics. We don't talk religion.
Right. Now you played a tournament. You played the spring. You won a tournament in England recently, didn't you?
Oh yes. We won the Lederer.
The Lederer. Okay.
Yeah, that's a fun tournament. It's a 2-day tournament, and it was especially exciting because after the first day we were 7th.
Yeah. And
we managed to win it. And like the first match, we were playing against, I think it was Zia's team.
Yeah.
And I was a little bit jet-lagged.
Yeah.
And I had no idea. Like, it was such a disaster. I was playing a couple of 3-note trump, in which the only thing I knew is that I have a go to take 9 tricks, but I have no idea how.
Yeah.
And Michael and my battle over that match was minus 3.11, which is a lot of minus seams.
Wow, that's a lot.
But we rallied and we won it. We finished 3rd last year and we won it this year.
And that was on the first day that you played Zia's team, or the second day?
Yeah, the first day, the first match. After that, I sort of woke up.
Who did Zia play with?
It was a good team. It was Zia and Jansma, and it was really a good team. They were the holders from last year. I can check.
Well, who were your teammates?
I was playing with Michael Barrell and Asaf Lengi and Dylan Bareket.
Oh,
very,
right.
very nice Israeli players. Yeah.
Yeah. I know them. Well, that must have been. I mean, I don't know. I know they've represented Israel, but is that maybe one of their better wins, or?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Zia was Zia, and then Isbild and Jansma and Nistrom. It was a good team.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
It was a very, very good event.
Yeah. Was there prize money?
£1,000 for the whole team, which really doesn't cover the flight to London and the stay.
Right.
But it's a really fun event, and you dress nicely, you play in a nice place.
Is it held in London?
It's held in London at the RAC, which is the Royal Automobile Club.
Oh, I'm staying there in May.
It's a really great place.
Yeah?
You have to dress like a proper wasp.
I was hoping you were going to get to
our waspish part?
We were going to get to that.
Yeah. Like you actually really have to wear a jacket and a tie at breakfast. Which I assume it would come naturally to you.
A jacket and tie at breakfast? No, that does not. I don't know. I can count on one hand, maybe one finger. Maybe I don't know that how many times I've ever. Well, actually, no, that's not true. I've worn jacket and tie to. I don't know.
At breakfast.
It goes back to my grandmother's days. That was the only time. My dad's mother. She was a pretty formal woman, and a bridge player. Probably not as stout of a bridge player as you. I never played with her, but she used to sit and sun herself and play bridge on this little computer, this little handheld computer, back when I was a teenager. Mm-hmm. And it was before I learned bridge, so I had no idea. And it's kind of funny because she spent a lot of her time playing bridge, and that was never part of our relationship. So it kind of is now that, like, she died in 2001. So it's like something that I look back fondly on her, but we never actually did it as part of our interaction. But it says on your website that you learned at home.
My parents were playing.
Yeah.
So I saw them playing. I loved the game. I took a book.
Yeah.
I learned that in order to open, you need 14 points, 2 aces, and the kings. That's an opening bit. Which says something about my age.
Yeah.
And one of Trump opening was 16 to 18.
Yeah.
So I read the book, and that was the beginning of a wonderful life.
Mm. Do you remember the title?
No, but it was a French book. It was a French author.
I think my first bridge book was like one of the Bridge for Dummies or The Complete Idiot's Guide to Bridge. So how old were you then when you
13 when I started, 13, 14.
And did you have to, were your parents, when you asked them to play with them, were they, like, did it require coercion on your part, or were they
No,
amenable?
not really. And I wasn't playing a lot with my parents. It was summer, and there was this lake, and there were a lot of people playing. It was pretty popular.
Yeah.
And I started to play and almost never stopped.
When did you take your first finesse?
Very early in my life, very early. I was a very early finesser. This was one of the first skills that I acquired, and I still use it proudly today.
Now, did your partner appreciate the beauty of seeing you do that in the way that
Nobody
I do?
like you. Nobody like you. Like the joy I can see spreading on your face every time I take a finesse. And it doesn't matter if it wins or if it doesn't. It's just worthwhile. So sometimes when I play with you, I take practice finesse just to make you happy.
Oh, my God. I took a practice finesse recently. It's probably not the first. Oh.
But you don't have anybody to really appreciate it, so it's just wasted.
Yeah. I tried to so I had Jack. So I'm in 3 hearts, and I have king and 1 opposite 2 small. I have.
What is a dummy and what is your hand?
Okay, all right. I'll tell you the dummy first. So the dummy is king and 1, Jack 5th, ace 3rd, and 3 small.
Okay.
And my hand is 2 small, ace queen 5th,
Okay.
2 small, and ace king jack 4th.
Okay.
So the auction goes 1 diamond on my left, pass, 1 spade. I bid 2 hearts. It goes 2 spades. My partner bids 3 hearts, and I passed.
Okay.
So it's playing match points, and I passed. We're not vulnerable. They are. And so they have a 9-card spade fit, and she leads the 2 of spades, and it goes small, and my right-hand opponent plays the jack. So now she shifts to a small club, and I win the ace, and it goes 10. And I have ace, king, jack, 9 of clubs.
Okay.
So it goes 10 on my left. And I...
Why didn't you play the king of spade?
Because my opponent was... it wasn't my opponent was not... Like, it wasn't a sure thing that my opponent was capable of playing the jack from ace jack.
But on the same way, it's not clear that your left-hand opponent wouldn't underlead an ace.
I mean, right? I honestly, like, in a million years, I don't think it would happen. But you make a good point.
Like, playing low can hardly win. Because, first of all, righty can have ace queen of spades, and then sure they will do the right thing, and probably with the ace jacks they'll do the right thing. Whereas if you think that the opponents are not so good, I would tend to think that maybe they underled the ace of spades.
So then, what the hell happened? I had to lose a trick. I lost a trick, and it went... So I think I played a diamond, and now my right-hand opponent won it. Oh, shit. Anyway.
I don't know. Like, for me, this is pretty straightforward because it looks like that's one of those things. We have 22 points together. The opponents have 18. Somebody opens a bidding, and it looks like the person who didn't open has the ace jack of spade and probably a little something in diamonds. So I would just play the ace of heart, not take many finesses on this hand because they don't work anymore.
So what happened is I played I forget, somehow we played a second round of clubs, so the queen of clubs came down. I forget what happened. And now I try to low heart for my hand because I know the king's on my left. And she wins it. She hesitates and then wins it. And then plays a spade. So now my right-hand opponent wins the ace of spades and gives her a club ruff.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so I could... so what I was thinking about, I could have like tried to pass the 9 of clubs. Anyway, I could... and then lay down the ace of hearts and now play a club and pitch my spade loser. And instead of maybe making 4 or definitely making 3, I ended up going down 1. And this is the hand that I was talking about at the beginning of the the show.
That rattled you, and after
Right.
that you didn't.
Right. And instead of getting upset about it, I was like, okay, I need to just, this is one hand. It was the third round, and I was really upset because it was really silly what I did. Like, of course her partner can't have the ace of hearts now too. Like, it's impossible. How can she let me play? I mean, 3 hearts if that's the case.
All right.
So, anyway, I forgot why I started telling you that story in the first place.
About the practice finesse.
Oh, yeah, that wasn't so much of a practice finesse. I was delighted to, not to take the finesse of the Queen of Clubs.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell? Anyway, I played a diamond. Okay, so I played a diamond at trick 3. My right-hand opponent won it. I ducked. And now she played the Queen of Clubs into my king. So that's when I thought for a long time. And then I tried a heart to the jack. And, I mean, it could have worked if the woman was completely asleep, but she wasn't. She won the king, and now she crossed in spades and got the club rough. But my partner handled it well. I apologized to him.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway.
Another thing that it's an important lesson to learn, and I learned it pretty easy in my career, is to forgive yourself when you make a mistake. Because usually your partner won't forgive you, your teammates won't forgive you, so you'd better forgive yourself. That's the only person who's going to forgive you.
Right.
So just forgive yourself and move on. Number next.
You feel like you do that?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I completely and totally forgive myself.
Right. Even when
it may take some time. It may take some time, but
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know that I do my best, or I try to do my best all the time, and so that's good enough.
Huh.
I hope all my partners are as understanding as I am.
Right. So, what else should I ask you, or anything else? You think we're going to break the internet with this one?
I don't know. I can give you some wonderful meatballs recipes. I have a lot of talents apart from.
I saw that on your website, meatballs. I don't think I've had your meatballs.
I'm the queen of meatballs.
Really?
Yeah. I love to cook.
How do you serve them?
With pasta, with spaghetti, of course. Spaghetti with meatballs.
Well, that's like
that's the only way
true.
to do it when you are married to an Italian.
Well, that's one of those things where, is it really? I feel like that's interesting to hear, because sometimes things get bastardized when they come to America. So it's interesting to hear that really is something that an Italian enjoys.
Yeah.
It's not just an Americanized version of something.
No.
All right. Well, I don't want to take you away from your lovely husband anymore on this Easter. Did he go to church? You don't have to answer that.
If you were in Naples, you would have gone, but here, no.
Yeah. All right. Well, please give my best to Pietro.
I will. He sends his best back. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate this. I'm going to put it up, and I will send you a link.
Great.
Thank you very much, Migry. I really enjoyed talking to you, and
so did I.
It's good to catch up.
Okay.
Bye.
Happy Easter. Bye.
Happy Easter.
Thank you for listening. It's a pleasure to be able to share these conversations with you. I hope that you're getting as much out of them as I am, and certainly let me know, write a review, or just share it with your friends. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate your feedback as well. So the goal is to improve. Just like with my bridge game, I'd like to become a better and better listener. I certainly can appreciate that. This is a harder medium of communication than I originally thought. So it's fun to put it out there for you and to hear from you all. Thanks again.